What is going on, everybody? Friends, family, listeners, strangers, acquaintances, and everything, aliens, everyone and everything few and far between. This is the Triple Thrift Podcast, and we are your three hosts Drew, Profit Monsters, Joey Badabing22, and Josh, also known as Harry Tornado. And we are here, hopefully, consistently to provide you with valuable content, something you can listen to while you're listing, while you're shipping, while you're sourcing, even, and maybe just brighten your day up a little bit or just keep you distracted from the loneliness that comes with reselling sometimes. So, we are here for you. We love you guys, and we thank you so much for listening. And without further ado, I'm going to check in with the boys, see how they're doing, and then we'll get started. So, Joey, how's it going, brother?
What is going on, you listeners? What's up, guys? Going through the motions, buying a lot of stuff, selling a lot of stuff, buying high, selling low. You know the deal. I'm just kidding. The other way around. but
I just caught that.
everything's good. I just enjoy life so much, man. My mom is actually back home from the hospital. I saw her Saturday. We had a pizza, and she wanted brownies and stuff. So it was just super awesome just to get her back home because I haven't seen her in like 3 weeks. So it was just a beautiful blessing for her to come home. And I'm back and ready, and I don't know, just want to keep selling as usual. So yeah. So what's up, Josh?
Not much, man. We've been doing pretty good over here. Haley's been absolutely killing it on the reselling side of thing and the YouTube side of things as well. She's getting much more comfortable on camera the more we do. The more videos we've made. I think we've been doing 3 videos a week for like 3 months now, and she's been in pretty much all of them. So she's much more comfortable now. Not to the point of like wearing her own GoPro. We get that question asked a lot. I don't think she's going to do that anytime soon, but she's been killing like the eBay listings. We're up to like 450, I think, which is, I think I've had more in the past, maybe a couple years ago, but it's definitely the most we've had in a long time. And our 90-day total just hit 29,000 yesterday, when that's the highest 90-day total we've ever had. So things are good, man.
That's where I'm at too. I'm at 29.6.
Well, let me see. We got to get down to the penny to see who's the winner here.
Moe's.
Mine's low.
Moe's just like slowly opened the
Open
door.
the door.
Staring behind us.
I wish you guys could see that because I was like, "Is that Haley?" And then it was Moe's. You could see his little nose like pushing the door.
He wanted to make his appearance. Actually, mine's down. Mine's 28,318.
That's crazy.
So you beat me, but
Yeah.
you've had the full-time couple thing going on a little bit before us, I think. Didn't you? No, you quit
No.
after Haley did.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just beat us fair and square then.
Fair then.
But yeah, man, things are going great. Super excited. I'm going to Los Angeles. Haley and I are both going to Los Angeles in a couple weeks. We're going to, I think it's Vid Summit. There's like 2 different ones. I think it's Vid Summit. It's like a YouTube conference. It's just about like, there's different YouTubers going to be talking about how to grow and how to manage your channel and how to, just different inner workings of YouTube. Mr. Beast is going to be there. Graham Stephan's going to be there.
What?
Roberto Blake. I have a huge respect for Roberto Blake. He was one of the first people I started watching on YouTube that taught me like the basics, like it was Roberto Blake, Nick Nimmin, and like Think Media, like Sean Cannell and Benji Travis.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys, I just watched so much of their content, when I first started on YouTube. So I'm super excited to hang out with Roberto, and Nick's going to be there. I don't know if Sean and Benji are going to be there, but we're just pumped, man. Super excited.
That's really cool. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It should be awesome if you meet Graham. That's so cool.
I'll definitely see him. It's a fairly small thing. I think there's like 500 tickets available for like in person, so it shouldn't be like a huge crowd. So I'll definitely see him, but I don't think I'll have a chance to meet and greet. Maybe, I don't know. He's not like a huge celebrity. Like most people probably don't even know who I'm talking about.
So what do you do? Like you just put like I'm Harry Tornado on my chest and I have 100,000 subscribers. Like is that what you do, or like how do you?
I'm definitely gonna like, I don't know, like market our channel to some degree, but
Right.
it's a conference for like YouTubers and also like some like marketing departments. Like if you have a company that wants a YouTube presence, they'll send their marketing people there to like learn about it. So I don't know like the category of like YouTubers that are going to be there, like in person to learn. I know who's speaking, but I don't know who's going to be in the audience, you know, so it should be interesting. Same thing with the Boss Reseller Remix that we're going to in Vegas in October. I know who's speaking. We got Mark II, who's not your dad's CPA. We got Rally Root's going to be there. Rockstar Flipper's going to be there. Wade's Ventures, he's going to be there. So I will be in the audience. I'm not speaking, but it'd be cool to like hang out with everybody else in the audience. So
That's cool.
I think one thing that you said right there is a really good point for any reseller that's listening that wants to have a YouTube channel, is how much, which you've talked to us about, you know, like behind the scenes, I guess, about how much content you've consumed about things to do to grow your channel, and, you know, content, how to make your content, how to focus it, thumbnails, titles, all that stuff. And, you know, sometimes Joey takes, you know, here's my my frustrations of days where I'm like, man, I just have no motivation for YouTube. My views are down, or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, I have not watched more than probably 1 hour of content on how to grow my channel. And that's my responsibility, is just because I've been so busy running my business for the last year and a half. And quite frankly, there's no excuses. Like, I just haven't made time for it, because you can make time for whatever you want to do, whether it's go to the gym or record content for YouTube or do this podcast. You know, you can make time for whatever you want to make time for. And I just haven't spent any time on that aspect of it. And really, there's no reason. Like, I just haven't done it. But I do think
it's
that's
hard
the
when
difference.
you like, you're like the sole breadwinner of your family, right? Like your wife
Right.
is a stay-at-home mom. So that's tough, because you have to like it's tough to find that balance between like maintaining your family and your household and also like spending time on things that don't have an automatic payoff. Like, you can watch 10 hours of videos about how to grow your channel, but that's not going to make any money for you in this moment.
Right.
I think my big advantage was I was watching content like that while I was still an underwriter. Like, while I was working, I usually had a window pulled up on one of my monitors, just watching YouTube videos all day long. Probably why they laid me off, honestly. But that was a way that it wasn't like such a harsh transition. Like, I was still, Haley was working, I was working. This was just like a side thing, you know? So I wasn't pressured like, you know, someone like yourself, when you've got to focus on providing for your family first and foremost. So
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an interesting dynamic. Like, and I tell people, like on Instagram and stuff, that ask me, you know, it's so much different. And I don't use this as an excuse either, but it's so much different having kids or even being married versus being a single guy. Like, I've talked to Dalton about it, dealing with Dalton, because he's a single guy. He lives on his own. He like shares a place with other people, and they like split the rent, but he's got like no responsibilities to like anybody else. So he's in a great position to grind, to work hard, to grow his business, to thrift whenever he wants, you know, to do all those things. And when you're married, it changes things, because you base your time around your wife, or, you know, around their schedule, whether they work. Like, I know for Josh, we've talked about before, when Haley was working, you know, you would make sure that you were home from thrifting when she got home, so you guys could make dinner together, you know, and spend that time together, because she was gone all day at work, you know. And so the marriage applies a lot to it. And then having kids just changes it even more, because your kids want your attention. Like, I was taking pictures in the living room today, and like Zeke is, you know, running around being crazy, and then he starts like dancing in the living room, like on top of the shirt that I'm trying to take a picture of. And it's like, I can't yell at my kid because he's just cute and it's innocent. But at the same time, like, I could have gotten a lot more photos done, but I value every second, you know, and I'll never let those moments like get me angry and be like, Zeke, get out of my way, you know, because it's just a t-shirt or just a listing. But those memories I'll have with my son, you know, won't last forever as far as his age is concerned. So, you know, I grab him and I squeeze him and I give him a big hug and I do an airplane with him. I throw him up in the air.
Can you hang out over there for me, bud, for just a little bit?
And then you scoot him over. But
hey, bud, why don't you just scoot on over?
It's an interesting dynamic, but I try not to let it become an excuse for my business. Like, I'm still solely responsible for the success of my business, which is one reason why I do so good working late at night, because the kids are asleep. My wife goes to bed. I can just work distraction free. and I'm able to grind out a lot of listings in my office.
That's
So,
awesome.
I don't do as much um, during the day. Like I'll photograph during the day, but I don't know. It's just things change, and the business model changes. But I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm grateful that I work for myself, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Um, and
Yeah,
now I'm
that's
also looking at getting a home equity line of credit against my house because I have so much equity built into this house. I barely owe anything on my mortgage at this point, and I'm going to try to buy another house with the home equity line of credit, and then I'm going to rent out the house that I'm currently in right now, and that'll start making me about. My goal is to make about $1,000 a month profit after my mortgage and renter's insurance and all that kind of stuff per month.
Yeah.
So if I can do that, that'll add some income, and then you know I need to put a little more effort into YouTube going into Q4 and into next year, and hopefully that can become an income stream for me as well. So
for
big things
for
on the way.
for me, it's kind of like the same thing. Like me and Destiny, we have our business together, and I've been trying to tackle the reselling side, as much as possible. Like, as you said, Josh, before like I start really grinding, and I said before I would do it, but like you really don't understand like how like when I quit, I was like, guys, I'm gonna do YouTube. Like I have so much more time, but it's like you don't. Like you got to get out there and go get that stuff, bring it home, get it listed, cleaned,
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, it's just like like even for Drew, like if he ever hired somebody, like he would, he could do YouTube, more often, or it's just all those little things. Like now Haley's, on the side of
Yeah.
reselling and stuff, and you can really tackle the YouTube side and grind that out, which is completely awesome. And that's where I kind of want to get as well. Have Destiny, do the reselling side and bust out the YouTube, because it's just something I really would love to do full time on the YouTube
Yeah.
scale. But yeah, I'm just trying to push that eBay, Mercari cross listing, and just push that as much as I possibly can, so I learn that as good as possible, and then I can transition to that YouTube side, because it is difficult. It's not hard, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
imagine.
the hard part about YouTube is that, like, yeah, with eBay and listing and stuff, you can grind that out at night. You don't have to be, as long as you're awake and you have slight mental capacity, you
Yeah.
can list something on eBay. But with YouTube, you've got to like make sure your lighting is set up and make sure you're like energetic and hyped up. Because if you're trying to film a YouTube video at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to be quiet because your kids are asleep, it's not going to be a very good video. So that makes YouTube harder. You have to plan out your time spent on YouTube more so than just I've got some drafts on my phone, let me list while I'm in line at the drive-thru or something. You can't film a YouTube video while you're in line at the drive-thru.
Right.
So that definitely makes it more difficult.
I've also been slowing down on my YouTube content because I feel like I want to try to change things up on my channel personally and just see if they work. I'm going to probably give it like a 3-month run of consistently trying to do at least one video a week of this series, which I've mentioned before. I mentioned it on Joey's Live, but I want to do this kind of like competition style video where I'm doing something against somebody else, and we're basically betting thrifted inventory against each other. Like I keep saying the boxing match, but the boxing match will probably not happen for a while. But like Joey and I, we were hanging out. We thrifted the other day together, and we went and played disc golf the other morning. And I feel like it would be a really cool idea to do like a disc golf game against somebody, and then we each put up a thrifted item at the chains of each hole. And so whoever has the better score on that hole gets to grab the inventory, and we like carry IKEA bags with us and see like who gets the most stuff at the end of 18 holes. And so if it's like a tie, we both get our item back. Like if we both get a birdie or we both get par. But if I get a birdie and Joey gets a par, like I get the items for that one. And so that's like one of the ideas. And I feel like I kind of just want to go more the entertainment route, but I know it's going to cost me more on the back end because I'm going to have to either pay or find somebody to like be a cameraman for me and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm going to be willing to invest into that financially because just the regular thrifting content to me is like, even just making it, just it's so hard for me to find something so rare that makes, like, I don't know how Froggy Flips finds these grails at every garage sale he goes to, but man, that guy has got a grail on every corner that he goes to. And so he's got great content, and he's getting, 100K views per video because there's always something to see on his videos. And he makes great content. Like, it's not just the grails, but the content he puts out with what he finds is great. But I'm just not finding that stuff when I walk into thrift stores.
Yeah.
I mean, I find some shoes that I can sell for $80 or something like that. But, there's nothing in the last couple months other than my bulk buyout that's just been so good that I was like, oh, I need to pull the camera out for this. And
well, so on YouTube, there's two different types of YouTubers. There's idea-based creators and there's relationship-based creators. And you look at somebody like Casey Neistat. He's definitely a relationship-based creator. That means that his viewers watch him because it's him. Like, he could make a video about anything and it would get 1 million views at least. He could do anything. He's just Casey Neistat. But whereas Mr. Beast, he's kind of a relationship. He's got a good audience, but his videos are all idea. Like, what's the next craziest thing?
Right.
There was a podcast I listened to that Phoenix Resale told me to listen to, and they were talking about, if you see a YouTube video where it's like, man skydives out of airplane into a pool of sharks. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care who does that. I would watch that video. It could be Froggy Flips doing it. It could be Cincinnati Picker. Whichever reseller decides to jump out of a plane into a pool of sharks, I'll watch it. But I think it's a much more simple path than going the relationship base. Like, I don't have to get out there and find grails all the time. I can just find like basic shoes and like, have my personality come across on camera and, show my wife and show my dog and have people kind of like join in virtually, like as a close up look of my life, I guess. And that's worked for me. It won't work for everybody, but I like it because even if we have a dud day, it doesn't matter. I could still find something. I mean, I had a video a couple months ago where I was just cutting grass with Grass Facts. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
It was like 3 minutes of the video with just me, like a time lapse cutting grass with Grass Facts. And like the watch time on that, like nobody stopped. Everybody watched that whole thing.
Because it's
And like when Haley and I went, and it's just
crazy.
like, if you can make it entertaining, like if people come to your channel for like the reselling and you can add in like bits of entertainment or like close looks at your life or something to make it feel like they know you as a person and friend, they're much more likely to watch. When Haley and I went to Savannah, we did that little tour of that fort down there.
Yeah.
And that was probably like 5 or 6 minutes of the video. And it still, like, people were commenting on it saying, oh, that was cool, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, very few people clicked off on that point or like fast forwarded through it. So yeah, that's been my goal. And that's what I would recommend. It'd be much cheaper. You don't have to risk anything or do bets or crazy camera work or hiring a video editor is crazy expensive, man. Like, any decent video editor, even for my simple videos, is like $250 a video minimum, which is like, even with me, like the amount of money we're making, that's still too much for me to. I'm still editing my own videos.
I think for me personally, like, because I already don't have any drive or like excitement when it comes to the editing side, like if I don't go that route, then my content's just never going to come out to begin with. Like, it's just, I don't know. I have a weird like brain when it comes to this kind of stuff because like I know I can do it. I just would rather be listing than editing YouTube videos. And because my YouTube videos aren't making me basically any money, I think the last cash out I had was like $37 or something. So, the amount of effort that I have put in, which was not really a lot compared to some other YouTubers, for the amount of money that I'm getting is just not worth it to me. Instead of hiring an employee to do listings for me, I'd rather hire an employee to edit videos for me or, find somebody who likes making content and, let them, experiment with their skills, with making videos for me, in a way
Not
where
like hiring an intern.
Yeah.
Somebody that
like
wants
that,
to practice video editing, I'll just let them practice with mine for free, and that way they get practice and I get free videos. It's perfect.
I mean, something along those lines, exactly. But I'm willing to pay someone, but I'd rather find someone who is like either goes to my church and wants to learn a little bit more, or someone who just wants to make like an extra 50 to $100 on the weekend, because I don't know. I just making the content, trying to remind myself to always have my GoPro and then pull it out and then record and then, dump the footage, then sit through the footage and watch it and edit it and try to add things on it or whatever. I don't know. It's just,
I love it.
I know, which is what I love about this podcast, because like you and Joey both love the YouTube side of things. And I love the idea of being a content creator, but I don't like the idea of having to sit down for hours
content
and edit the content. Edit the content.
I love the idea of being a doctor, but I'm terrified of blood. That's basically what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
I feel like this is a good opportunity. I want to address something from last podcast. We had been talking a couple times about like representations of us, how I was Winnie the Pooh, Joey was Tigger, and Drew was Eeyore. And we had some discussions about it. And we don't want you guys to think that Drew is just some like always depressed, always downtrodden person. He's really not. He does have a lot of bad luck, and we just try to laugh it off. But we don't want you guys thinking he's depressed and all that stuff. Drew is a great guy, super energetic, really happy most of the time. He just has some bad luck occasionally. So we are going to refrain from calling him Eeyore anymore. But we're going to have to come up with a new. I don't think we can ever come up with anything that was more perfect than that. But we'll have to try.
So if you guys are listening to this and you have any suggestions, DM us on Instagram, email us, let us know, and we'll change it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that I'm depressed by any means, and I know that most people don't think that. I just think that
You're very passionate.
I'm very passionate, but I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm very vulnerable to like sharing the ups and downs of my business, because I feel like if I was consuming someone else's content, I would want to feel like I could relate to that person. And when I watch a lot of other YouTuber resellers, all you see is what sold videos about how I make $100,000 a year, or, these amazing garage sale grails, but no one ever shares about the returns that they get, the bad customers. And I think that it's just something relatable that it works for me on Instagram, and I need to figure out how to convert that to YouTube. Because a lot of people DM me and say like, hey, thanks, I thought I was the only one that was going through this or something like that. I'm like, it's just that other resellers just don't share that content. Why? I don't know, because I don't think it's a bad thing to tell other people like, hey, I got 3 returns today. It's just the ups and downs, the roller coaster of being a reseller. And I'm just not afraid to show people like the truths about it, I guess.
Maybe you should make that content then. Like maybe you should just implement that as, as a normal everyday thing. Like it happens. I mean, I get returns. Josh gets returns. I mean, we all do. So
yeah, now that we started selling clothing, I think we've had 5 returns this month.
Dude, I've had like 20 in the last month. It doesn't fit them when you provide exact measurements. Like it just doesn't make sense. But, Drew, maybe that's your outlet of, I don't know. I had to set up a USPS claim for a golf club that got broken right in half in the shaft. And, I claimed it on USPS.com and I got all my money back. So, that could have been like a cool video to make, or, for you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say like you have to like space it out though, because you don't want to have the appearance of being like a Debbie Downer all the time.
Right.
On YouTube, people love when bad things happen. Like when Lonnie's like storage unit got broken into, that was like one of his first videos that really took off. Like when I had my eBay store shut down, like that video got like 50,000 views in like a week. It was one of my like top videos at the time. Anytime something bad happens, I usually make a video about it. Somebody's like, what would you do if your house burned down? I'm like, well, after I got through the emotions of it, I'd probably make a YouTube video about it. it would make a lot of money. People like seeing bad things that happen to people, but I'm not like that all the time. And I think that's like a fine balance. Like Drew, the honest opinion, I do think you should share more positive things. Like, cause it does seem like sometimes I'm like, man, Drew had another bad thing happen. I'm like, come on, I'm pulling for you. And I just want something good to happen. So maybe I like that you're being transparent, but you got to balance it out with some good stuff every once in a while, I guess. So you're not seen as an Eeyore.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that you're right. I don't know. I just feel like I just put out whatever content I want, and sometimes I don't realize how much like returns or crazy customers or offers, But like yesterday was just one of those days. If you follow me on Instagram, like I was just getting low ball after low ball after low ball, And then Josh came in and sent me a low ball offer on Poshmark.
I saw that.
He had a pair of Noble shoes listed for $100, and
You
I sent
offered
him
him
an offer of 20. The only reason I went 20 is because Poshmark wouldn't let me go any lower than that. I tried to send like 15, and Posh is like, "You have to send at least $20." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." Drew was like, "I should just accept the offer to make you pay." I was like, "Do it. I'll flip them for $100."
You'd probably make a video about it too.
Probably, yeah.
So, but yeah, I do think that I have to be careful with that personally, and I know it's something that is just maybe subconsciously I'm trying too hard to get people to relate to me or something. I don't know what it is. I just feel like,
well,
I just don't see enough people in the reselling community just like sharing the ups and downs. You just see like certain people just making all this good content, like sold a vintage t-shirt for $300 on eBay today. Like, I'm happy for you, but you create this like bubble of content that gives this false idea that reselling is this, perfect world where you sell stuff, the buyer leaves you positive feedback, and you just never have anything other than good experiences. And so I try to do a lot of stuff on my Instagram, which is hard to convert to YouTube. I haven't figured that out yet. But like, I'll go to a thrift store and I'll do copper drop. Like, I'll post a picture of something and say, would you buy this or would you leave it at the thrift store? And I just try to get a lot of engagement. But my favorite thing is when I do those and all the people who said drop and then I sell it, for a profit. Like, that just the amount of people that always say to leave something behind. I don't know if they're just saying it because they don't know, or if they're truly like, no, I wouldn't pick that up. Because like I had a pair of shoes. They were Nike Court Force lows. They look like Dunks, but they're not Dunks. They were $10 at the thrift store, and I did copper drop on them, I think, and like 40% of people said drop. And I sold them on Mercari for $56 plus shipping, like in less than a week. And it's just crazy to me how many people wouldn't have picked those up, for what reasons, So,
one thing I've learned about social media is that you should never think about it too hard. Like, once I make a video, I'm done with it. Like, yeah. I'll go back and read comments, but I'm not going to like, most of the time I'm already thinking about the next video, The only example is the only, I guess, exclusion to that would be the Rally Roots hat videos. I went back and deleted both of those because I felt like it was just negativity on both sides. Like, half the people thought I scammed Ryan. The other half thought Ryan scammed me. I'm like, well, this isn't helping anyone. So let's just, delete them and move on. But other than those two, most times I just post a video and then I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next one. I'm not I don't look at the analytics anymore. I don't look at anything like that. I just try not to overthink it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of do
YouTube,
that.
But it goes the same for Instagram or anything, any kind of content.
Yeah, I've been kind of doing that with like my Instagram content. Is just like I just almost set it and forget it. I just, even sometimes I'll do a poll or I'll do like a question and I don't even go back and look at the results because I just want people to stay engaged with my content. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, like, because sometimes there's not a right or wrong answer, or when I do copper drop, I'm not looking to know if the majority of people would pick it up. I already know if I'm going to pick it up or not before I even do the poll. I just want to know in the reselling community, like, who else would pick this up or not. And so, that's why when people refer to me as Eeyore or something, it's like, I didn't realize that my content came across to anybody, whether it was a few people or a lot, as like, I'm this depressed reseller that has all these issues. I just share them because I'm like, well, today was a day of lowball offers. I hope everybody else has a great day. I mean, but in retrospect, I had probably like 10 or 11 packages go out today. So I still made sales, but it was across multiple platforms, and eBay just wasn't my day yesterday on eBay. For a lot of sales, I still had decent sales, but had I actually had fair offers on all these lowball offers, I probably could have had like a $600 or $700 plus day on just eBay. But that's just the way I like. During the live right now, I have a vintage golf bag listed for $400, free shipping, and someone offered me $20 just now during this podcast. $20 free shipping, I'd literally lose money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do, So,
Yeah. Like for our business, like we do clothing, like that's our main thing that we do. And we're talking $20 to $40 worth of inventory, like in clothing. Like I still do hard goods. It's just I look through the hard goods first because it's harder to find in our area, and then we move into clothing. Well, she starts in the clothing, but I go to the shoes and do all the hard goods. But we get pretty decent offers because it's like at that lower mark. Like you're talking, we'll get $15 offers, but people, they offer pretty decently. And, even though you're probably making, if you sell something for $25, you bought it for around $4 or $2 or $5 or $6, you're still making $15 to $10, at the end of the day. Plus, they pay shipping on, that's what we do. But, the lowball offers, you just have such high, quality items that are just worth a lot that people don't want to pay that much, and that's why you always get those lowball offers. Like me looking at our business now, like changing it where I was normally getting all the big stuff. I still do, but now we're, doing different things with clothing that I see way different, looks on. We do get lowball offers, but it's not like how you get all the time. Like that's crazy. A $400 golf bag for $400, you get a $20 offer for free shipping. It's just, it's weird, but it's a give and take, it's part of the business and you just got to just run with it,
You could also just set minimum acceptable offer amounts.
Yeah, like you could do that as well.
$200.
Yeah.
I don't usually do that, but if I started having problems with constant low balls, I probably would.
Yeah, some of my stuff I do have that set to, but other stuff I didn't, just because like I never really was like I'm trying to think. I mean, for the amount of items I have active, I wouldn't say like I'm getting 100 lowball offers every day, but it's like I shared on my Instagram today that I had this pair of Clark's Desert boots. They're Wallabies or something like that. I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of comps for them listed or sold, but there was a couple, and I listed mine on the higher end, but with free shipping, knowing that they would cost me a little bit to ship because they're heavy. I think I listed them for $49.99 free shipping, and I mean, in the last 2 weeks that I've had them listed, or last week I had them listed, I've gotten $20, $25, $30. I couldn't get an offer over $40, and I was countering at 40, then with free shipping. But I got the shoes for free, so I figured like, all right, if I just make a little bit of profit on these, I'd be happy because there's not a lot of comps. And I just didn't understand why I was getting so many lowball offers. And then this morning I woke up and it was like an overnight sale for full price. So, it's like sometimes holding out is worth it. And then sometimes it's just not worth it, like to accept an offer and just make the sale and move on. I have been better at accepting offers, but just, the ones that I shared, like where I get a $10 offer on a $90 item. I mean, my motto is always counter offer. I still don't even decline. I just counter offer at $89.99 to see if that person's actually going to send me a legitimate counter offer or not.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's just part of the business.
That Instagram sound that's like, well, maybe I'm a gangster too, and it takes two to tango. Like you should make an Instagram reel like that. When somebody sends you a lowball offer and you counter at 1 cent less than your listed price.
I need to get Dalton to help me out with those because I am not like, I don't know how to edit those reels. Like it's just weird, man.
You're just a reseller, bro. That's it.
Yeah. You're not a content creator, man. You want to be a content creator, but you don't want to create content.
He does. It's hard. I guess it's hard for him. I don't know. Really I think it's easy.
I can't wait for you guys to have kids. That's all I'm gonna say.
I can.
When you guys start having kids, I guarantee your content will change. I don't care who you are. When you
No,
have
no.
kids, your content changes. You cannot keep the same schedule. You cannot put out the same amount of content unless your wife goes full-time mom and she doesn't do any part of the business and takes care of the baby so you can carry on with the content. It will
I think
change.
so. I was recently hanging out with Caleb, Phoenix Resale, and Retro Rick, and both of those guys schedule out their videos like months in advance. Like Phoenix Resale has all of his videos done for like the next 2 months, like already uploaded to YouTube, just like scheduled out. So he could literally take 2 months off and he will be very behind. You know, he'd be up to date.
Right.
But like, I think that's awesome. And like, just batching, you know, if you have kids and you have one day that you could send them to grandma's or something like that, just like as you're planning your week, you know, come up with video ideas, come up with scripts if you want to script it out. And then, you know, get your camera set up, get your lighting set up, you know, get in the mood, take an energy drink or whatever, and then just bang them out. You know, if you can film, like you can pretty easily film, like even with our flea market video, sometimes we go to flea market and I got 3 videos out of the last flea market trip we went to. So that's like, I don't know, just like time management. It's good with any business, but it's really good with YouTube, especially if you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say that my kids are the reason I don't make content, because I know there are people out there that do it. I mean, Hustle at Home Mom is a perfect example. But
Tesla Picker.
yeah, Tesla Picker, that man doesn't sleep though. Like he was born a robot or a cyborg or something.
Matt part-time pickers.
Yeah, those people that do that, I really don't know how they do it. Like I don't want to make any accusations that they have employees or someone behind the scenes helping them with something somewhere, but they're just cyborgs. I just don't know how they do it all, you know, or they just don't spend time with their kids, which I know is not true because I see Tesla Picker at basketball practice every day with his kids after working a 14.5-hour shift and then recording a YouTube video and then going to the flea market. I'm like, bruh, how do you have time for all of this?
Bruh.
Bruh.
You'd be
Exactly.
surprised. And I'm not saying that you're.
I look up to them. I really look
Yeah.
up to them.
And I'm not saying you're not driven, but you'd be surprised how much you could do when you like, you know, start your own business and you're pumped, you know, and it's almost to like an unhealthy level, you know, like ideally, you know, I'm a Christian, Drew, you're a Christian, Joey, you're a Christian, right?
I'm Catholic.
And so Catholic, same thing, yeah. So like ideally, you know, I'm a Christian first and then a husband and then a business owner, but it's very easy for that business mindset to creep up into those other 2 territories. So you have to watch that. But like if you have passion and drive and like you don't want to play video games anymore, you don't want to do anything with your friends, you don't want to, you know, eat, you know, all you want to do is build your business, you know.
I gotta
like,
eat, man.
I mean, I do too, obviously, but I was saying that as an example, like with like, unless you're like a true born entrepreneur, like I've been in those, I don't know, bursts of motivation in my life from like, I don't want to do anything but grow this business. I don't care how late I have to stay up. I don't care how early I have to wake up. I don't care how much time I have to spend editing. I don't care how much time I have to spend listing items on eBay. That is what I care about in this moment. And when you have moments like that, you'd be surprised at the amount of work and your level of productivity you can put out.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I agree. It definitely comes down to motivation, and right now
Yep.
I just don't have the motivation. I need to get it. So, you know, I got to find something that inspires me or motivates me. Like what I was talking about earlier with the challenges, even though it's so much more intricate and so much more detailed and so much more like financially, I'd have to probably pay someone to do it and stuff. I feel like I'm more passionate about that idea and that concept and those types of videos than I am about just like, you know, because obviously there's no motivation for money for me for YouTube right now because I'm not really making any. You know, I guess if I was getting 150 to 100,000 views per video and I was making thousands of dollars, I'd be like, yeah, I will find time to make videos because this is making more money than, you know, any other job I could have. But since I'm not there, I guess that is potentially why, even though I'm not trying to make YouTube content to chase money, but I think it's in the back of everybody's mind when they start
Sure.
out and they're like, I want to monetize, I want to get paid. because you want to be paid for the efforts of the time you put into anything, no matter what you do. You want to be
Also,
reimbursed
like,
for it somehow.
but also, like, how do you get there is the thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's the
Freaking
whole.
work.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Like
I agree
even in the
100%.
early stages of my channel, when I wasn't making any money, I was still passionate about it, and I still was like, what if I could make money? Like, I remember when I finally got monetized, it took like 9 months, and I was like, let's freaking go, baby. I'm about to start making like $5 a week on YouTube. This is crazy. I'm about to make money for posting videos on the internet. Like, that is wild to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy, So I mean, that's definitely that's 100% on the mind of every YouTuber. Like, the
Yep.
possibility of making money, or if they're already making money, like, how do I not mess this up? Because this
Right.
is awesome. I'm living, the dream life, doing whatever you want to do, like filming it, having people like watch and participate in your life, and you making money from that, and they don't have to pay anything. Like, it's a whole business. Like, the business model of like pleasing your customers, and they can partake in your business completely for free, is just wild. There's no other business like it in the world.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's super cool, and like I said, it's inspiring and motivating to see people like you and Matt and Tesla Picker and these guys, John Cincinnati Picker. I mean, the guy's got like 5 like he does like the what's it called, like orphanage. He like takes foster parents. He like fosters kids for a little bit, and then until they find their families or whatever. And like, you can just tell like he's just an amazing person, from just that side of things. And just to see that people can do it gives me hope. I just gotta get to that place where I kick myself in the butt and just say like, okay, time to make time for this, just like I make time for church, or just like I make time to do listings or to organize my shed or anything like that. I'm coming down to the end of this bulk buy. Like, I was listing some clothing today from the bulk buy, and I'm kind of finishing up the last strings of it. I'm going to have a garage sale on Saturday, and try to get rid of some older stuff and things from this bulk buy that aren't worth listing, in my opinion. And once I'm done with that, it's going to kind of clear my head a little bit because I've had it a little bit scattered, like some in my office. My wife was very patient when I bought it all, and a lot of it was originally in the living room until I could organize it and put it in the shed and things like that. And so I'm thankful for my beautiful wife who's put up with me. But it's all out of the house. It's either in the shed or there's a couple bins left in my my office here. Once I can clear my head from the bulk buy, I'm going to put more time into the YouTube content. But I really haven't done like large sourcing trips or anything like that. Like, I went sourcing with Joey, with Dalton, and with my buddy Matt like once or twice here and there, but nothing crazy. So, because I've had all this inventory and I just don't believe in death piles, like I want to list it. And so that's what I've been doing. So
that's awesome. All right, boys. Well, I think we should cut this one short. We you guys listening, we talked last week off microphone about the possibility of making the podcast a little bit shorter so we could possibly do more of them, or at least stay consistent like 1 week. Because sometimes it's easier to set aside 30 minutes versus an hour. It looks like we're about almost 45 minutes or so. So let's experiment with this one. Let's cut this one at 45 and just see how people react. And then we'll go from there. Maybe eventually we'll get down to like a 5-minute podcast 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
Cool. Hey, what's up, guys? I just sold this Rock Band set. Oh my gosh, let's go. Josh, what'd you sell?
I sold a shirt. Oh, I'll end this. We sold a shirt on Poshmark. It was just like a Ralph Lauren t-shirt with like stripes and stuff. Sold it for like $15, nothing fancy. The buyer opened a case because they claimed it was not authentic. I'm like, do they fake Ralph Lauren t-shirts? I'm like, it's a $15 t-shirt, man. Like, It wasn't anything. I'm like, the patch is good, the tag is good. I think it just didn't fit him, and he's just trying to get away to return it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll end the podcast with this. I'll share with you guys one good and one bad thing that happened to me literally during the podcast. Okay, I sold a pair of Hoka shoes on eBay for $125. So let's go.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Are they used?
Used, yes.
Wow.
A pair of Hoka men's Bondi 7s. They were like mint condition used. Like probably like a manufacturer like return. Like someone bought them and said they're too wide for my feet type of deal. So that was awesome. And then I just got a 1-star rating on Poshmark, and we'll end the podcast with this comment. I accept some responsibility due to having lost my glasses. After receiving the shoes, I saw the condition they were in and threw them in the garbage. That's where they belonged in the first place. The shoes were done, all capital letters. Unless you don't any shoes at all, I guess they would be a step. Unless you don't own any shoes at all, I guess this would be a step up. You got me on this one, Drew. Never again.
All right,
And
I'm
on
gonna
top
need
of
to
that-
see. I'm gonna need you to post that Poshmark listing on your Instagram so everybody can go and see the shoes for themselves.
Okay.
Because I'm really curious about what they. look
They're
like now.
actually not that bad at all. They were, in my opinion, they were they're Air Max Plus TN women's sneakers, and I accepted a lowball offer on them. I listed them for $49, and I accepted a $35 offer on Poshmark, and still got that message. So if you want to see the shoes, go on to my. Well, actually, this probably won't get posted in the next 24 hours. If you want to see the shoes,
I'll post it tomorrow. I'll post
Okay.
it tomorrow, Friday the 17th.
Okay, so if you miss this and you want to see the shoes, send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to send you a screenshot of what they look like. But I would honestly rate them like a 7 out of 10 at least. Here's the shoes. You guys can see them. Like I'm showing them the picture. The one of the shoes, like the front toe, was missing like some of the plastic right there. And I put that in the description and clearly showed it. And my description said, condition is pre-owned. Some of the black on the tops are missing as shown. And there's good tread on them still. Like, they're not bald at all. It's crazy. I think someone's just upset.
Drew, I think we can all agree that those shoes are done, just like this podcast.